This is WPSL Port St. Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast.
The views expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of WPSL. However, we're the ones who've encouraged you all along to like and share them on social media and with all your friends and neighbors, because at this time each week, Joannes Nutrition World in downtown Fort Pierce presents Joanne's World of Nutrition with the one and only Joanne Seeger.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday. I hope everyone's having an incredible morning. I really feel super blessed. So we just got back from a cruise. We had the most amazing time and just missed that hurricane. So it's
That's
like,
where you were, right? Where
yes. So Hurricane
Beryl.
Beryl literally waited for us to get back to Port Canaveral and get all safe, and then showed its ugly head.
Beryl
Yes.
must have been a fan of this show.
Well, it's kind of crazy because so many customers, when I told them we were doing a cruise, which I thought it was normal to cruise in the summer. Like I've always taken my vacations in the summer, and everyone's like, "Are you crazy? That's hurricane season. Why would you take a cruise in the summer?" And I'm like, "Well, that's when the kids are off school. That's when I'm slow. Why wouldn't I?" And then I was making fun a little bit of those comments while we were on the cruise because it was the most beautiful weather. We had the most amazing time. And then sure enough, I come back to find out we just missed the hurricane. So okay. So I won't judge anyone for saying that anymore because we really feel thankful. We had such a great time. Ooh, a lot of food though. A lot of food. Whew. All right, so let's do some breath work, sir. I've already had a real busy morning, started out super early, so I need to ground myself.
When you're all out of breath, that's the best time to do the
right?
breath work.
Oh, whew. All right, so if we have some new listeners, thank you so much for coming on the show. And I would love for you to participate in the breath work. It's for all of us to feel better, more focused, get some more oxygen into our body, especially our brain, which I think these days we all need as much oxygen as we can. So let's exhale out for a few seconds, and then using our nose only, let's do 5 seconds in, and let's just do 5 seconds out. We'll make it super simple. 5 in, 5 out, only using our nose, 2 rounds. That should help us all get ready, okay?
All right, are we ready?
So drop your shoulders, relax your eyes, exhale.
Okay, and let's begin. In 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Release. 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, in 2, 3, 4, 5. And release. 2, 3, 4, 5.
Thank you so much. That always makes me feel better. I hope all the listeners continue on breathing while we do the show. So today's topic is going to be July 4th and how to make it healthy as can be without kind of feeling like you can't socialize or go to those picnics, and just maybe bring a few add-on dishes that will help add some health to the day, because nothing's worse than, especially if you have to work on Friday. I mean, it's an awkward day this week, Thursday, to have a holiday. And so if you do have to work Friday and you have to be bright-eyed and bushy-tailed Friday morning, you can definitely get a food hangover besides a alcohol hangover. So I'm going to hopefully give you some tips where you can lessen that effect. So whether you're off from work or not, you can enjoy your morning and not feel groggy and yucky. All right, but I do have to talk about the cruise. So we went to Royal Caribbean Wonder of the Seas. And I have never seen so much food in my life. But for any of my listeners that really want to stay healthy during a cruise, this ship had an amazing state-of-the-art gym that was huge, and they had seminars. This one gentleman, he did a seminar on health and detoxification that was spot on. It was 1 hour. It was incredible. My father-in-law even really enjoyed it. He's a physician, and he was acknowledging that it really was easy to understand and definitely logical. And I love that. But they also had a juice bar. So part of our beverage plan, we could drink as many juices during the day. And they had ginger, beets, carrots, celery, really great. You can make it any way you wanted or the way that their recipes call for, and protein drinks and smoothies, really healthy options. So if you do want to check it out, I feel like I'm trying to sell them, but some people think that they can't stay healthy on a cruise. That definitely helped us. We did that walking path every morning and drank the veggie juices, and it really made us feel like we weren't totally doing a deep dive from all the buffet foods. And a couple suggestions, and this would apply to July 4th as well. There's two things that if you want to take any supplements on your trip or when you go to a family picnic that might have extra sweets or starches or alcohol that you're not used to, digestive enzymes. Again, not an excuse to eat badly, but definitely helps your digestive system really help deal with all those different food choices. So we always travel with our digestive enzymes. And the second thing is magnesium. So magnesium, it is famous to help make the bowels move and hydrate the colon, but it is really, really important. It's a muscle relaxant and it really helps you enjoy your time when you put too much food into your stomach and you're like overwhelming it. Sometimes you can get like spasms and pains that will make you leave the event early, and you really don't want to do that. So magnesium is very helpful. I usually suggest like just taking one while you're eating, or you can take one after you're eating and then an extra one before you go to bed that evening. And again, you wake up and you feel so much better. So digestive enzymes and magnesium is my go-to for any trips or if I'm going to have dinner out. All right, so on to July 4th. Well, happy July 4th, everyone. I was trying to say happy, healthy July 4th, everyone. So I was looking up some interesting facts, and I was kind of, there are certain foods that I buy for the family, and when I'm buying them, I know they're not perfectly healthy. I'm just basically, we're feeding six, and there are some, lines that I do cross, and one of them is hot dogs. Now, when I raised my children, we never bought hot dogs. I never had hot dogs. I didn't really need them. We had so many other protein choices. But as the kids are getting older, trying to feed themselves, hot dogs have come into the house. And I've tried to buy healthy versions of hot dogs, and I'm going to cover a couple brands that are healthier than others, but it's very difficult to find healthy hot dogs. And if you're going over to a friend's house or an event that you can't control where the hot dogs come from, I'm going to try to give you tips to where you can add things to that hot dog festivity to make it more digestible and a little healthier. But first, let's talk about the dangers of hot dogs. and and again, it's the whole idea of what you're eating in your day, your week, your month, your year. So I'm picking on hot dogs, of course, because it's July 4th, but there's a lot of other things that we could add to this conversation. So the first thing is the oh gosh, all right, let's see which one to start with. Okay, so the pork product. Okay, so with a hot dog, usually go back to your office, sir. All right. This Greg. Oh my gosh. All right. So hot dogs have a lot of pork byproducts, and I really kind of overlook that as like, okay, byproducts, but they do put parts of the pork, the pig, in it that are really kind of concerning. the skin, hair, hooves. They say that pretty much everything and anything can go into a hot dog. Now, some people choose not to eat pork for religious reasons, but pork is also considered a very dirty meat as far as the pig, what it chooses to eat. So if the pig has its choice of food, it will eat everything and anything, decaying produce, just anything. And so they say that it has the highest percentage of pathogens in it, especially bacteria and stuff. So I would just be really careful with that. Like, what type of meat byproducts are going into your hot dog? They do make all beef ones now. So that's where I started. I was like, okay, so I'll skip the pork and I'll go to the all beef franks. But there's lots of different ingredients in those too. So let's start with the real obvious one, and that's corn syrup. So corn syrup is is, as we know, a form of sugar that is really, really bad for us, almost poisonous, because it goes right to the liver. So high fructose corn syrup has been in the attention of the news that we need to eliminate that from our diets. So what they have done is kind of tricked us a little bit with the wording. So you might not see high fructose corn syrup, but you'll see malted syrup or just corn syrup, or sometimes you'll see corn sugar, and people will just assume that it's better for you, but it's just high fructose corn syrup kind of masked into other names. So you have to be really careful with that. When you put a high starch bun, so you have the hot dog bun, which is all refined white flour, which turns into sugar instantly, and then you have the corn syrup in the hot dog, that is very dangerous. So there are people that have diabetes that will look at a hot dog as a protein source, but the amount of fillers and corn syrup in it can be very dangerous for someone, especially when they add the bun to the mix. So you definitely want to be careful of that. All right, and so I'm pulling up different labels of hot dogs that are considered healthy, okay? And so this one here, it is just beef, and instead of corn syrup, they put sorbitol in it. Now, at my store, I don't allow any sorbitol in the store. It is a type of sugar. It's really bad for the digestive system. It can cause gastric upset. And if you're already eating a hot dog and a bun, it's very possible that you're already causing digestive disturbances without the extra sorbitol added. So the sorbitol, again, definitely leads to digestive disturbances. And then this one, they put natural flavorings, but I have learned that even though it says natural flavorings, it could be hiding MSG. I've done full hour shows on MSG. It is a great concern for me because it tells the tongue more, like never stop. And that's why I think some people can eat like 6 or 8 hot dogs, because that little sensation on the tongue makes you want more. So you have to be very careful with MSG and its 100 different names in all this packaged food, because it really is dangerous. So that flavorings definitely could be hiding that. It also has hydrolyzed corn protein. In the GMO world, corn and potatoes are the most dangerous. So corn protein, there are some people that have stated online, and these are very credible sources, that also shows human DNA in those strands. I think that is so disgusting and scary. So if you want to look into that further, it's in the GMOs, where they say that ingredient is hiding that information. And then it also puts like 4 other chemicals that I probably will mispronounce, but these are the natural ones that I'm discussing right now, okay? So a little crazy. And then so this is the ones that we bought. and they were Hebrew National 100% kosher beef, uncured beef franks, no artificial ingredients. So kosher beef definitely assures that there is no pork byproducts in it, so that's a good place. It also is guaranteeing that there's no MSG in these, and there's no nitrates. They're using celery powder instead of a synthetic or artificial nitrate. So, coincidentally, in case you're not aware of this, when you look at bacon and you look at hot dogs that are natural, they will say that they use celery powder. Some people are like, why would they put celery in this meat product? Because celery, as well as other vegetables, especially beets, have lots of nitrates in them naturally. And that is where the conversation started with a lot of people. Well, if vegetables have nitrates naturally, why are nitrates bad for you? Well, a study that it really wasn't even a study, it was an expert opinion back about 44 years ago, stated that nitrates were cancerous. Now, they are finding many flaws in that study, but they're kind of sticking with the nitrates are cancerous. So for this conversation, because I haven't dived deep into it, let's just say the vegetable nitrates that are naturally occurring, okay, have not caused any problem with human health. But the other nitrates, it's easy to avoid them. You can buy, like, we never buy nitrates unless it's vegetable source. You can buy tons of hot dogs without nitrates, sausages, bacon. It's everywhere. Sam's Club, Walmart, all your normal box grocery stores all have nitrate free. So why not give that a try? It's one less chemical synthetic ingredient to use. All right. So, and the all natural, what I love to, especially what we just discussed, is no MSG. So MSG, for me at least, especially if I was going to have two hot dogs, I would definitely get a headache if I ate anything that had the MSG in it. So if you're not feeling well after packaged foods, it could be the MSG. So it's an easy thing to avoid if you buy something that you don't see hydrolyzed protein. So you can Google a list of MSG and all its different names, but hydrolyzed is a good place to start, especially with hot dogs. So if you see hydrolyzed anything on the ingredient list, then you definitely want to stay away from it. I'm trying to see here, make sure there's, oh, and for this one, they use sea salt versus any chemicalized salt. So that's another good thing. So let's go back to, okay, the next natural one that I want to mention that we've bought before. It's hard to get these everywhere, and it's really sometimes a little expensive. So that's why I try to choose the national brands that are trying to go more natural. But this is definitely cleaner than the one I just mentioned, Applegate. So Applegate is found, it used to be just in health food stores. Now it's in regular grocery stores, but usually it's cold cuts. I don't see their hot dogs everywhere, but our Publix does have the Applegate hot dogs, and they are humanely raised, never any antibiotics, grass fed, of course, MSG free. So if you see Applegate and you want to splurge on a little bit of a hot dogs, for a couple celebrations, Applegate would be your way to go. They do have natural salts. I find them a little salty, so just be weary of that if you're sodium sensitive. All right, so the next thing is the buns. And hopefully I'll have a chance to talk about hamburgers, but right now I'm still on the hot dog. All right, so the buns, there are really no, in normal stores, there's only one choice for a healthy hot dog bun. I have looked at every label of every hot dog bun, and they are like big paragraphs full of refined flour and chemical stabilizers. It's just not healthy. But Dave's Killer Bread they do make hot dog buns. And I do trust Dave's. He has really kept, even though he's huge now and nationally distributed through every store there is, he has kept his integrity with his line. So his hot dog buns are really clean. He does not use bromide in his flour products, and bromide is a serious, very dangerous chemical that has been outlawed in most parts of the world, but except for the United States, we still use brominated flour. So his hot dog buns are not enriched with that chemical. So it will be healthier, but by no means is any flour product really the best choice. But if you're going to have a hot dog, you're going to want to have a bun. So I remember when I went to Costa Rica, they serve their hot dogs on cabbage leaves, which makes me want to talk about cabbage. So I'll talk about that next. But if you really have to have a hot dog bun, please try Dave's Killer Bread. They make hamburger buns, they make hot dog buns, they make bagels, they make bread. The healthiest one is their sprouted thin sliced bread. So that one is their healthiest rated of their line. But if you got to have a bun, have Dave's. All right. So let's talk about cabbage. So I love sauerkraut on my hot dog. And yes, my German mom raised me, and we did a lot of cabbage in our life, but especially sauerkraut. So there are some people in my home that do not appreciate sauerkraut. So if you don't, I understand. But to have a tablespoon of sauerkraut with your hot dog, or just have a tablespoon before you eat your hot dog, it will help so many things. And also coleslaw. If you don't like sauerkraut, you don't like the taste, and you don't want a hot dog, having coleslaw on the side. Again, you can bring it as a side dish to whether you're having it at your home or you're going somewhere. You can control how healthy the coleslaw is made. There's a lot of healthy mayonnaise that's out there now. You can use it with the healthier mayonnaise. You can use it with the healthier vinegar instead of a white distilled vinegar. You can use like a Bragg's apple cider vinegar, and you use red cabbage and purple cabbage. Oh my gosh. I mean, if you just Google the health benefits of cabbage, it's like absolutely incredible. I think there's about 20 different benefits of cabbage. I'm just going to go over a few. We sell a product in the store that's available in any vitamin store. It's called Indole 3 Carbinol. And Indole 3 Carbinol is amazing. It's also known as DIM, D-I-M. So if you're concerned with any hormonal cancers, you're going through a hormonal struggle with whether it be PMS or menopause, Indole 3 Carbinol DIM from cabbage is the right way to go. But if you chop cabbage, it releases this molecule. It's the strangest thing. You have to chop it to release this molecule called the Indole 3. But it will fight inflammation. It's for immune system, cancer prevention, digestion, heart health, weight loss, protects your heart, lowers cholesterol, antioxidant, brain health, dietary fiber, bone density, vision, hypertension. It has so much vitamin C, tons of natural vitamin C, almost a whole day's worth. Anti-aging properties. It helps the mitochondria. So the mitochondria, that part of the cell, when it is functioning perfectly, you have much more energy. How many times do we eat a couple hot dogs and we feel exhausted and not well? So if you add some healthy coleslaw with that, or some sauerkraut, that can definitely help you. It's there is other nutrients. Oh, the vitamin K2. How can I forget about the vitamin K2? K2 is incredible. K2 is really famous now because it helps the calcium go from soft tissue into the bone where it's needed. So if you have in your arteries, like through plaque, or you have too much free floating calcium going on that doesn't know what job it's supposed to be doing, that vitamin K takes it and puts it to the right spot. So K is critical, and it's usually found mostly in organ meats. So some people are kind of like, oh, I don't eat that many organ meats or egg yolks. So cabbage does have vitamin K2. So if you want a vegetarian source of K2, that will be the one. Of course, fiber, it has lots and lots of fiber. So everyone knows fiber helps fill us up. That's why cabbage is so famous for weight loss. I remember 20 years ago, people would do the cabbage soup diet. They would just eat and drink cabbage broth, and they felt great. But again, doing one food product, not a good strategy to learning good health habits for the future, but super healthy. And let's see, and healthy fats are in it as well. So, I mean, I don't know about you, but just having a simple little bowl of coleslaw before you have your hot dogs or your hamburgers or all your sweets, your body will have all that fiber to slow down that glucose release, all those nutrients. Oh, and minerals, so many minerals in cabbage. And again, just focus on that indole 3 carbinol, and that would be just enough health benefit just right there. All right, so cabbage, coleslaw. All right, so I think I need a break, sir. I need to drink some water. All right, everyone, when we come back, we're going to talk about some more healthy July 4th little tricks and good healthy ideas.
Including a hydration break.
Yeah,
All
drink
right.
water.
You're listening to Joanne's World of Nutrition, brought to you by Nutrition World. Joanne's Nutrition World in downtown Fort Pierce. We'll be back in just a moment.
Hi, this is Joanne from Nutrition World and Wellness Center. I am really excited to introduce new guests and topics to my show every Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. here on WPSL, where my listeners can call in on any topic. If I don't know the answer, I'll try to find it. We want to help you become the best version of yourself. We'll have naturopaths, coaches. I am looking forward to sharing my years of experience with my listeners so we can enjoy this life journey together.
Visit Joanne's Nutrition World in the Crass Square, formerly known as the Arcade Building, located at US 1 and Orange Avenue, across from Fort Pierce City Hall. Open Monday through Friday from 10 to 4, Saturdays 10 to 3. Taking appointments for the Wellness Center online at joannesnutritionworld.com or call 772-464-3598.
Trade that daily mental and physical exhaustion for real energy with HRG 80 Red Ginseng Energy from Terry Naturally. It comes with a full money-back guarantee. Get an energy boost like never before. Breeze through your day with focus, a clear mind, and yes, energy. HRG 80 Red Ginseng Energy Formula from Terry Naturally. Get HRG 80 Red Ginseng products at your local health food store or terrynaturallyvitamins.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
This is WPSL Port St. Lucie.
We now return to Joanne's World of Nutrition, brought to you by Joanne's Nutrition World in downtown Fort Pierce. And once again, here's your host, Joanne Seeger.
How are you today? I am talking about July 4th, and I have to admit, these type of shows are hard for me because having a big family and trying to keep things economical sometimes, I do kind of step outside of the box and I let them have some naughty food. But I'm just trying to make it where you have some tricks to go along with some bad choices so that way your body doesn't get so beat up and you can feel better the next day. So I try to live in the real world, and I do have some friends that never step outside of the box, and they really just always will eat perfectly, and I applaud them. But so if you're more like me and my family, these tricks really do help. So don't give up entirely and just say, okay, let's spend the whole day like having soda pop or regular hot dogs and lots of sweets and junk. Your body will have a burden on it and it won't feel well. So you really don't want to do that. You want to just kind of maybe make it like a 80-20 rule, that 80% of your day is really healthy and 20% is where you might partake in whatever party food you're being served. I think that sounds reasonable. What do you say, sir? Does that sound reasonable?
Well,
The 80-20 rule?
I remember during some of the diet plans I went on over the years that always failed, by the way. That you were allowed to have a cheating day every once in a while.
Right. Yep.
Maybe once every 2 weeks, maybe.
Yes.
You know, you hold to that too, don't you?
Well,
Because if you have to do it, you have to do it as little as you can, as little as you have to. But 80-20 does sound
right. It sounds reasonable, doesn't
yeah,
it? And a
reasonably.
lot of my customers say the reason they like working with me is because I really try to give them rules that they can follow forever
Right.
and they're not so strict, because we have friends that don't live the way we live, and we go to restaurants that don't serve the food that we would buy at our homes. So if you do these tricks, you'll feel better, live better, and live longer. So, well, thank you for your input, sir. So we are still discussing hot dogs because I forgot to mention what we're putting on top of our hot dogs, like ketchup.
Ew.
Now, there
Sugary
are
tomato sauce.
there are many people that can't live without ketchup, okay? And I get it. It's like, but sometimes they're putting like 4, 5 tablespoons on a hot dog. It's a little crazy. And
Let's
then
not forget the French fries we woofed down
right.
too.
Oh,
With
I'm
it.
going in that to next. But yes, but sometimes they'll like dip the hot dog into ketchup as well as it being on top of it. So that gets a little crazy. But there are ketchups now that do have sugar-free options, okay? So again, you want to be careful of the labels, but they will say on the front, no high fructose corn syrup. Okay, that's a good beginning, but like we just discussed, sometimes they'll put 3 other forms of sugar in there to make up for no high fructose corn syrup, so it's still as bad. So just try to find the cleanest ketchup you can. There usually is 3 or 4 ingredients in the natural ones, okay? So just, tomatoes, vinegar, salt, like keep it as pure as possible. That way, if you need a little on your hot dog, again, you're not adding more sugar. We already talked about the sugar in the hot dog. The bun is pretty much sugar because flour turns into sugar in seconds. Okay, so you got to be careful. You got to be careful because especially if you're partaking in alcohol and dessert, that's like a glucose insulin nightmare. So please be wary of that. Now, I love mustard. Once again, sauerkraut and mustard. That's my go to. I think it's absolutely delicious. If you really haven't tried mustard for years because you just grew up with ketchup, give it a try. Even if you just cut one little piece of the hot dog and dip it in a little mustard, just please give it a try. Like we usually tell the younger generations, if you don't try, you don't know. Mustards now have so many varieties and flavors. It's super healthy for you. It's anti-inflammatory. So just give mustard a try. It just would make your hot dog moment so much healthier. Okay. All right. And you mentioned French fries. So I have to talk about
Oh,
French fries. Now, I don't go to the French fries. So one thing, I think they're a lot of work. If you're doing the healthier version in the air fryer, it's too much work for too many people. But I know a lot of places serve the French fries with the hot
and
dogs.
I miss the salt they used to put on them. They used to put way too much salt on them, and
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
know, there was something better about them back
I
then.
know. I see people like, oh my gosh, even on the cruise, like there's all this amazing, delicious food, and these people would pile up French fries, like to me, the cheapest
Yeah,
food, right? And then
starch.
tons of salt on top. It's like crazy. But French fries, there's no way that I can really make that healthy sounding for you. So I would say just skip the French fries altogether. There's no way. It's a genetically modified food product. So remember, so glyphosate is an antibiotic within itself. So you're basically sterilizing your gut microbiome. When you take an oil and you fry it with a starch, that is very, very dangerous. It's like poison to the cell. So I can't put any rainbows on the French fry conversation. Just stay away from them. They're bad, 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 bad. Okay. All right. So the next side dish to your hamburger or your hot dog it's really easy to grill. It's economical. It's delicious, is asparagus. Do you like asparagus?
I love asparagus.
Right? It's delicious. It's great cold. It's great hot. It's easy. You can eat it with your fingers. I used to tell my kids, "Oh, it's gonna make you tall. Like, it will help grow you. And my
It'll
kids
help
are
your
tall,
body.
so."
Your body can create its own ammonia.
Oh,
That's actually good
yes,
for you.
yes. That the odor that you get, yes,
That's
but
an after effect, but you can ignore it.
well, you know
But
what
it's
else it
working.
has?
What has
It has asparagine in it, and that is a natural diuretic. So do you
Ooh.
notice, so with what you just went through yourself, the worst thing that doctors fear, well, maybe not the worst thing, but is that fluid building up in the body, right?
Right.
Fluid around your heart, fluid around your lungs. I mean, when you hear that from the hospital, you start getting scared. It's like, oh no, they can't release their own fluid. Well, that component in asparagus is a natural diuretic. So it's going to help your body remove metabolic waste. Well, why is that important during a festive July 4th day? Because you're putting in a lot of waste. One, all those carcinogens that we just talked about, like all those chemicals in the hot dogs and the hamburgers and the food and in the alcohol, in the air, the environment, that's metabolic waste. The asparagus, but just eating a small serving is going to help you release that metabolic waste. So natural diuretics are a really good way to go.
Well, plus your natural laxative, the best natural laxative I've discovered, and I did discover this the hard way, was walking.
Oh, yes.
Walking.
Well, tell your
Amazing.
story you just told. That's a really incredible story.
Well, when you are in the hospital, sometimes they don't want to release you until you've had a bowel movement or come across some other things like, well, I had to satisfy the hopes and the dreams of the physical therapist, whom I studied very hard over the years with the other ailments. The physical therapy was the same for the hip replacement as for the hernia surgery, repair surgery, the heart surgery. All three of those, I had to be able to prove that I could walk right.
Right.
They put a belt around you and they hold on to it just in case you fall. And I thought, well, gee, good grief, good thing they weren't around a couple of years ago when I was getting on 300 pounds. I'd have liked to seen it keep me from falling then. But now, of course, with the antioxidants, I lost a lot of weight. And it seems so easy now, but you get to know your body, and your body tells you things that you need to know.
That's right. You have to listen.
Yeah.
You have to listen.
Must
So
be
you're
listen.
walking every day now, and you're
Well, I was
feeling good.
walking a half a mile a day from the day I got out of the hospital.
Yep. And I'm
And-
sure
and-
you're going to increase that.
Well, I gave it a test a week ago Friday. Last Friday, I walked 4 miles home from work because I thought I could.
Wow.
And I did.
Yeah.
And it wasn't because I thought I could. It was because, and I told my cardiologist, and they're jumping up and down, high-fiving each other because they know they did a great job
That's
on the work,
right.
on the valve.
Well, they saved a life.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's incredible. Well, I'm so proud of you. Yeah, keep up the good work. And again, it's about that oxygen and that mitochondria, repairing it and really giving it a purpose,
But
know.
the best laxative is walking. I'm telling you right now, there's been no problem.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
even a half mile a day.
yeah, the digestive system is all these muscles that need to get the junk out. The other cool thing about asparagus, and I love it grilled with just some lemon. Oh my God, it's so delicious. The asparagus also has the same component like aspirin. So it also is an anti-inflammatory and protects the heart. So if like I'm totally just joking, but if you're scared of fireworks and you're getting anxiety or they're just like animals, we get that anxiety too. Then you have some asparagus first and it'll keep that heart happy and keep that inflammation down and keep your blood circulating. Really important features, right?
Yes, and if you know any veterans out there on the 4th of July when there's fireworks, sometimes there's a little bit of bad memories come back to the
I
veterans that have been in
know.
war. And
I know.
it's sad but true. But
Yeah,
be a
and
little extra easy on your veteran friends that are
I
out
was
there.
going to mention this at the end, but I think right now is the perfect timing. The CBD products that we sell, a lot of people was just totally all about them in the beginning, but one thing that they're absolutely perfect for is for animals that have stress and anxiety, especially with thunderstorms, like any weather changes or
Yes.
fireworks. So whether you come in my store or somewhere else, please get your animals the CBD for tomorrow. It is incredible. I have my best friend Kim. Her dog would literally lose absolute control of his body
Oh,
during
yeah.
thunderstorms. Even really, she said it doesn't even have to thunder, just rainstorms.
The biggest,
And
baddest, scariest dog we ever had was scared to death during a lightning storm. Would
yeah,
shake under the table and
exactly.
pant.
Well, this one would literally just like start freaking out, and they would get so nervous that it would hurt itself. And so they came, and we sell Pravita brand. So Pravita makes calming pet chews and liquid drops. They felt that the chews worked better than the drops, and they come in. Her husband just came in just a couple days ago and bought another one and said, "Oh, can you get some for backup for July 4th?" And I was like, "Wow, okay, yeah, no problem." But really, just please let your animals have the CBD because it just really calms their nervous system and they won't get so stressed or anxious during the fireworks and all that noise. I know sometimes it's really loud, so loud. All right, so now we're on to liquids. Now, I know when I grew up, it was like so much beer. Oh, so much beer. But just like how I feel congested now, I had flour this morning. Same thing. If I drink one beer, oh my gosh, my nose gets so congested so easy from any grain byproducts. So you have to be really careful because even just sounding stuffy, there is something inside that's happening too, an inflammatory process. So you don't want to stress out your body too much. So if you do want to partake in the alcoholic beverages, okay, do the trick, glass of water, and then the cocktail or the beer. I know
Oh, because it
it's
will not hydrate you. Alcohol does not hydrate you, does
exactly,
it?
it dehydrates you.
Ooh.
And the last thing you want to do is dehydrate the body. Now, I've noticed my friends that like to partake do not like this rule. They feel like it doesn't get them that buzz. Like they're like, "No, Joanne, I don't want to do it because then I don't get buzz."
Is that why they
Well,
put the water in the scotch and water
yeah. Yeah,
to
so
hydrate?
yeah, a little more than a little trickle of water. But that is true. You that's the whole premise is it's not, inundating the liver. But you just will feel so much better. Your body won't be so burdened. So if you can just give this a try, equal the amount of liquid that's an alcohol to water. Now, your body does dehydrate more than an equal amount. It's up to 3 to 4 times more, but at least equal it so you're not dehydrating your body. So you don't end up with the headache, the muscular fatigue, and feeling like a truck hit you. So if you can take that advice, I stopped drinking pretty much. Once in a while, I always joke that I do whiskey now. I think I chose whiskey as the go-to because I don't really love it. And I would do a tiny bit, like 1 ounce on, if I'm at a bar, and that is so, oh gosh, like I don't know, once in a blue moon that I might do this, but it's so strong that you can't really guzzle it.
Well, my doctors were always asking me, "Do you consume any alcohol?" And I say, I try to get something in at least once a year, but the last 4 or 5 years I've completely missed out because if I'm going to partake in alcohol, I would have to do so on a day before a day off,
Yeah,
or maybe
because it
early in a
beats you up
vacation.
that much.
Yeah, it does. And but when you don't have the time to do it, I guess it's not a priority if you
I
miss a
know.
couple of years. So I don't know how that would categorize medically as far as an alcohol consumer.
Well, my biggest tagline is that I wish that my customers and clients just trusted themselves and listened to their body.
Yeah, yeah.
And your body will tell you at a certain point, enough is enough with any substance, whether it be alcohol, drugs, food, work, relationships. It's going to tell you. You just have to pay attention and listen. And so that's what it was with after menopause when I went to have that normal glass of wine, and I never abused alcohol ever.
Ooh,
But I had that one glass, and my body said, not anymore.
wow.
Sorry.
You've never had one of those
Yeah.
moments where you were on your knees at the porcelain.
No, I never have,
Okay.
and my all my siblings made fun of me because I was the goody two shoes. But again, our bodies do speak to us, and we need to pay attention.
That's what I remember
So,
the most, though, about my first time when I first turned 18. They changed it to 18. It was 21.
oh
And
yes,
then
yes, yes.
by the
Okay,
time I turned 21, they had changed it back to 21.
they were like, oh no,
But
let's
I
yeah,
learned my lesson the hard way. And I do remember some very,
some rough
very
nights,
rough moments. Yes, rough,
right?
rough, rough.
I know. Well, some lessons are harder to learn than others. I
Yeah, but
get that. Yeah.
they're very well learned,
Oh
though.
yeah. We all have our lessons and just it's our path, right?
Yep.
But when so let's get alcohol out of the equation. So
Okay.
next a lot of those parties serve a lot of soda.
Oh yeah.
And I mean I hope I don't have to go into depth about why soda is bad, okay? But just be very careful. Like a lot of parents will say, okay, kids, you can do Sprite because it's not colored. It's just as bad. So if, and Gatorade, I have an issue with Gatorade. Gatorade's tons of sugar too. But there are those sparkling waters now. I think they're called bubbly or I don't know, there's a few named like LaCroix that you
It's like
can
a
make
flavored
something
one.
fun. Yeah, it's their flavored water. They don't have 25, 35 grams of sugar in them. Fatty liver disease in children now is very common, 8, 9 years old. And these are all from these so-called health smoothies and beverages that children are drinking, especially when they're in this type of environment. A lot of parents let their guard down, and it's like they're going into these coolers and getting 2 or 3 of these beverages, and that is 100 grams of sugar. And besides all the food they're partaking in, is extremely dangerous to them. They could really hurt themselves even in one event. And if you wonder why your kid's behavior is going crazy, that would explain it. The sparkling waters, there's a lot of cool YouTube videos that show you how to make fun, healthy beverages, like putting, frozen strawberries in the drinks or blueberries and making it festive and delicious. But the other trick too is watermelon. Watermelon is full of water, okay? And so you can hydrate your kids and in a sweet way with some nutrients without them having to drink their calories. I saw one cute video. They took a huge watermelon and they cut out stars like with cookie cutters. And, that's a great way to attract a kid to want to grab it and just eat it real quick. So they're hydrated. You don't have to worry about heat exhaustion or any if they're partaking in sports that they're going to burn themselves out if they have that. All right, now the last few minutes, desserts.
Did you say a bad word?
Desserts, man. Oh my God. I really do love my sweets. It's like it's such a challenge for me, especially in my field. It's like I want to tell everyone, just say no to sugar. But it's everywhere. It's just hidden. It's out in plain sight. But one thing that I love about July 4th, a lot of the desserts are based on fruit. Whether they're trying to make the American flag with strawberries and blueberries, and there's watermelon. They really do have a lot more fruit. And I have seen some really cool recipes. Now, the simplest thing that I tried to do to try to be good is some organic blueberries and just real whipped cream. I love making homemade whipped cream. I buy the organic whipping cream. I put a little vanilla extract in it, and then I whip it up. And the kids will be like, Mom, you didn't add sugar. And I'm like, yeah, because what we're putting it on has sugar. So like blueberries and strawberries. But if you want to just do like a teaspoon of sugar, that will be enough to get it like in this perfect consistency. And then you have all that cut up fruit and you put that whipped cream on top. Trust me, especially children, they will love it. They go like adults are the ones that usually like the cakes and the cookies and we grow that fondness of that, but kids actually appreciate pure fruit and would rather that. They have actually studied this. It's adults that start indoctrinating those more unhealthy desserts into a child's life. Children love fruit, its sweetness, its juiciness by itself. So it's us that contaminate that whole thing. So if you just put a big pile of fruit out with just a little homemade whipping cream, that's a really healthy dessert full of nutrients and fiber, natural sweetness. So I didn't cover hamburgers because there's a million different choices of hamburgers. But we have been sticking to this natural grass-fed hamburgers that Sam's Club sells. They are really great quality, not too expensive. So if you do have a big box membership, I have not seen it in the regular grocery stores, at least in the Treasure Coast area of Florida. But if you have grass-fed beef patties that you can access that is in your budget, they are delicious. So
You suppose that ground bison
yes.
might be good?
So now, we're here in Fort Pierce and we have all these cattle ranchers near us. So we have this a beautiful ability to get clean meat. So if you can, ground bison, just like the hot dog conversation, without all the byproducts. You don't want all the fillers. You never know what they're grinding into their burgers. A lot of great butchers will grind it right there for you. So look for that. And again, you can make this healthy and don't starve the whole rest of the day waiting for the July 4th meal. Have salads, have fruits, have veggies.
Yeah.
Get your digestive system ready. Everyone, I hope you enjoyed the show and I hope you have the most amazing July 4th. We are going to be open tomorrow, but just until 2 o'clock. So 10 to 2 tomorrow. Thank you, everybody.
And today, a double portion of Joanne's World of Nutrition. Last week's show has been pre-recorded for the one